The words cracked through the marble lobby of Monarch and Associates Bank. "Get out of my bank, you insolent wench. You are not welcome here." The receptionist, Brianna, her blonde bob stiff as her manners, snapped her fingers at security. A burly guard, Reynolds, clamped his hand on a woman's arm and shoved her out. None of them knew the woman they dismissed would soon hold power over them all. IT had begun that morning, when Anya Reed walked in wearing a tailored navy suit, a leather tote swinging from her arm. Her posture carried quiet certainty. The bank's lobby, sterile and colorless, seemed to reject her presence. Brianna barely looked up. "Line starts back there, ma'am," she said coolly. Anya glanced behind her. "No line." "What line?" she asked at the teller station. Two clerks, Marcus and Dean, snickered. Dean's crooked tie shook as he laughed. "I said get in line." Brianna pressed, her tone clipped. "And if there isn't one, we're not accepting more clients. I'm here for a significant transaction," Anya explained, steady but firm. From a nearby office, Charles, the senior teller, called out with impatience. "We don't have time for this. Try another bank. Different neighborhood, maybe." The message was clear. Brianna leaned over the desk, eyes sweeping Anya's suit and bag. "You don't belong here. This bank is for a certain class of people." Anya's pulse quickened. Around her, others were being helped without question. "I'm a client," she said quietly, "and I need to be seen." Dean barked a laugh. "A client? Please. That bag's fake. That suit borrowed. Who do you think you're fooling? Transactions like these aren't for everyone," Brianna added, arms crossed. "You don't have the funds or authority." "Let me speak to the manager," Anya insisted. "The manager doesn't waste time on people like you," Dean sneered. His civility vanished. "You should be glad we're not calling the police." "I'm not asking for charity," Anya said, voice trembling but firm. "I came to—" Brianna waved her off. "Enough. You'll be removed if you don't leave." Reynolds, the guard, stepped closer. His boots clicked against the marble. "Problem here?" His grin said he already knew the answer. "Yes," Dean said sharply. "This woman's forcing her way in. For all we know, she's trying to rob us." The accusation clung to the air like poison. Clients edged away from Anya as though her presence carried danger. "I have documents," Anya said, pulling at her purse. "I can prove who I am." Reynolds' hand slammed the bag shut. "Don't get clever." Anya froze. "Enough games," Brianna snapped. Reynolds shoved her. Anya stumbled, heels clattering against stone. Laughter whispered behind her, sharp and cruel. "Out!" Reynolds barked, gripping her arm too tightly. "Go back where you belong," Dean shouted. The glass doors flew open. Anya was tossed into daylight like refuse. The sun blinded her, but the echo of laughter burned sharper. Inside, clients carried on as though nothing had happened. She walked to her car, her breath shallow, her chest heavy with humiliation. She slid inside, shut the door, and silence smothered her. Tears finally broke free, hot and unstoppable. She gripped the steering wheel, trembling. Rage churned, but what stung most was the loss of dignity. She drove home blindly. When the car finally stilled, she collapsed against the wheel, sobbing harder. Makeup smeared her cheeks. Memories surged uninvited. She was 8 again, wearing a yellow dress, walking with her mother after school. They had gone for ice cream. The man behind the counter frowned. "Sorry. We don't serve people like you." His scoop pointed toward the door. Anya had looked to her mother, confused, heartbreaking. Her mother had whispered as they left, "Never forget, Anya. They may try to make you small, but you are not." That memory struck like lightning. 3 decades later, here she was again, thrown out, branded as lesser. She buried her face in her hands. The child inside her was still crying, still waiting for dignity she was never granted. But beneath the grief burned something else. Resolve. Her humiliation would not end the story. Tomorrow, she would return. And when she did, the same people who threw her out would discover the truth about who she really was. The bank's future rested in her hands. Anya picked up her phone, hesitated, then dialed her mother. "Hello," came Mrs. Eleanor's warm voice. Anya's words broke through in a tremble. "Mom, they kicked me out of the bank." A stunned silence followed. Kicked you out? What do you mean? Tears streamed down Anya's cheeks. They said I didn't belong, that I wasn't a client. They shoved me, insulted me, in front of everyone. Her mother's breath sharpened into fury. In our bank? The branch with your grandfather's name on the plaque. Yes, Mom. The line burned with indignation. Unbelievable. Not in the house your father and uncle built. Moments later, her Uncle Julian called. Uncle, Anya said, voice raw. You won't believe what they did. She described every insult, every shove. His silence was chilling. Then, in our bank? To you, the owner. Anya sobbed softly. This is not over, niece, Julian vowed. No one humiliates our family in our own house. When the call ended, Anya no longer felt only pain. A spark of resolve was rising. The next morning, sunlight poured over the bank's glass doors. Anya parked, staring at the very spot where she had been thrown out like trash. She smoothed her suit, steadied her breath, and stepped inside. The lobby froze. Brianna, the clerk, sneered. You again? Didn't you learn your lesson yesterday? I came to finish what I started, Anya replied. I want to be served. Dean, the teller, laughed. We don't serve just anyone here. Better leave before Reynolds throws you out again. The guard moved forward like a dog unleashed. Brianna rolled her eyes. She really has no shame wasting space. Thank goodness you arrived just in time. The glass doors swung open. Mrs. Eleanor and Julian entered, their presence commanding. The crowd instinctively made way. Brianna brightened, convinced at last someone of her level would deal with the intruder. Sirs, thank goodness, Brianna gushed. This woman keeps bothering us. She insists on being served, but I've explained we don't give handouts. Perhaps the police. Good morning, niece. Julian's deep voice cut through the lobby. The word detonated like thunder. Silence fell. Brianna's smile froze. Dean paled. Reynolds halted. Julian's gaze locked on Brianna. Now, young lady, tell me what exactly your problem is with my niece. Brianna stuttered. And niece? I didn't know. I was only doing my job. Anya stepped forward, eyes blazing with calm authority. She was no longer the humiliated woman of yesterday. Dean's voice cracked. It was a misunderstanding. Julian roared. A misunderstanding? You insulted her, threw her out like an animal, called her a thief. And you dare call that a misunderstanding? This is the heiress of this bank. The blood that built these walls runs in her veins. And you treated her like trash. Reynolds lowered his head in shame. Eleanor advanced, dignified and steady. Yesterday my daughter left here in tears because of your cruelty. That will never be forgiven. Anya lifted her chin. Yesterday, you cast me out as nothing. Today, I remind you who I am and who you insulted. The silence was suffocating. Julian's voice boomed. In this bank, built by generations of our family, no one will ever be degraded for their skin or appearance. Eleanor's words followed, firm. There are no first-class or second-class clients here. Every person deserves respect. You dared forget that. Brianna trembled. Dean wiped cold sweat. Reynolds looked away. Anya's voice cut through like ice. Yesterday you told me I didn't belong. Today I tell you, the ones who don't belong here are you. The lobby gasped. Phones lifted to record. From this moment, Anya declared, none of you will ever work here again. Discrimination has no place in this bank. Never again will another client suffer what I did. Applause rose, timid at first, then swelling. Julian's verdict was final. Gather your things. You're all fired. The employees' arrogance crumbled into shame. Heads lowered, they shuffled out under the gaze of clients who now cheered. Anya looked around, her voice steady. This bank will always be for everyone. No one, absolutely no one, will be excluded because of how they look. The applause thundered. The wound of humiliation had closed. From this day forward, her bank would never be the same.